Hello, my wonderful, beautiful brothers and beautiful brothers and one beautiful imagination. I am the Dark, the Shadow Maverick. The Dark Shadow Maverick. And welcome to What If Frisk Shara, the no-life human. Yes, that's right. Undertale Hellsing Ultimate / Hellsing Ultimate Bridge crossover. What if? Yes, this is just one of those what ifs I just came up with on the spot. Yeah. Thought it would be a really cool idea. So, yeah. How are we going to go about this? Well, I guess basically the best way to do it have it to, well, we're in this what if. Instead of honoring the promise that Sans made to Toriel, Sans, overcome by his hatred for humans, does the exact opposite. And basically, if you guys got a Mettaton Hotel thing where Sans basically says, if I hadn't made a promise, you would already be dead where you stand. Basically, Sans does that. Basically, and this has been basically Frisk / Chara after several routes, not really understanding why this route was different. Yet, not really feeling the pull of death, but not really feeling the pull of determination either. But instead, feeling something that should have been lost to the ages long, long ago. The words come in as they sink into Frisk's very soul. As it begins to deteriorate. No life, Prince. As deep within the confines of Frisk's very own soul, they would find someone. They wouldn't just find Chara, but they would find someone else. Someone, perhaps, willing to help, but it would not be Alucard. It would be someone the way they would be speaking, they would mention something that would imply that they were not Alucard, but instead his son. Chained to the monster of a man by blood. And it's by the same blood witch. Vicariously enough, as the blood would drip down, they would ask for Frisk to drink. And as Frisk would begin to crawl, as Sans had by now basically left, crawl over deep into the forest, even deeper than they had ever gone before, as they would see the blood where it had formed a tiny stream, and they would lick. As Char would then begin to realize that things were changing with Frisk's soul. It seemed to have formed within shape of an eye, basically. As Frisk would basically begin to convulse, and just violently convulse on the ground, until all of a sudden they would just stop. All functions would just cease. And they would just gasp for air. And Chara would begin to feel unsettled. Because Chara's basically, the character of the story. Basically, Chara's only bad if you make them bad. Chara's only good if you make them good. Chara's only like gray area if you make them Chara's only the gray area if you make them the gray area. Chara is what you make them. They are the character. So, yeah. Chara would begin to notice some changes within Frisk. Specifically, some changes including independence from having to rely on Chara's soul. Seeing as, Frisk had literally fallen down a mountain whenever first entering the underground. So kind of had to rely on Chara's soul. And this independence would then spring forth something else. The very save file in which Chara basically abides and, just hangs out in will begin to fill with rivers of blood. As A smile riddled with jagged, pointed teeth would begin to spread. His eyes would begin to glow bloodshot red. And even some drip would begin to form. The black tux, and dress pants, and dress boots, and even the black hat with a strap, strapping the little flower to Cat's hat. Since yes, Cat, son of Alucard, Cat, basically Cat's hat, and all of Cat's drip, even Cat's white gloves. And, well, basically, yeah, Frisk would adopt the drip. Would also have some of their own drip. Like, they would keep their striped shirt. And they would even hide their pants inside the dress pants. Pulling a little bit of some John Cena, having the thing inside the thing. And basically holstering some, not only some firearms, but some good old knives. Just get conjured out of nowhere and holstered onto the whole thing. Basically, this aura of darkness, of this no life prince. Second coming. Technically third coming because of what happened to Frisk. As basically it would begin to radiate off of Frisk. As it would just be like and just laugh to themselves. As they would decide to pay a certain someone, a certain goat mom, a visit. Because basically, with their wicked ass powers now, they can just bypass the freaking giant ass doors. They can just bypass that shit. Like, pull like that shit that Alucard did to those people where he just went through the wall, like, phased through it. Yeah, Frisk can phase through things now. And gets used to it pretty easily. Basically, walking towards Toriel's house. And basically, slinking in like a little snake through a window. Toriel's on her chair, Chariel. Reading her books about snail facts. Like, why the fuck did I say it like that? Snail facts. I'm so sorry. Anyways, reading her book about her snail facts. And jokes about snails. How they make for very bad shoelaces. Or something like that. Whenever all of a sudden, Toriel would sense a very ominous presence coming up from behind her. And then Toriel will basically look behind her, but nothing would be there. And that basically is whenever they basic Toriel would hear a voice say, in front of you. And basically Toriel would like whip her head around, and she would see someone on the opposite chair of hers, drinking some of that golden flower tea. It's like, and like, pinky fingers out. It's like, ah. And basically just being like that za, like that za. And Toriel would just be like, Frisk? Is that? No, you're different. And Frisk would just be like, yeah. Mom gave up my humanity for revenge. But I'm not quite there yet. I need to give up more of my humanity to obtain my revenge against. I was like, I need to give up my humanity so I can obtain my revenge. So, unfortunately for you, and then just, and Dora would be like, what? And then basically was like, behind you. It was like, shock. It was like 99999 damage. And Charm would basically be like, Frisk, what are you doing? And how come none of this is affecting your soul? And basically Frisk would be like, oh, Chara, you're not aware yet? My soul has been damned. Killing can't affect it anymore. Nothing that happens once I kill can affect it anymore. Only my familiar. And then just turns into a bat and flies out the freaking window. And basically, there's this freaking ghoul Toriel hanging around, and basically turns back into normal. Like, you look out in the ruins. Round anyone up I find worthy of seeking out for my revenge. And basically, later on, just Frisk basically facing through the doors, to the rest of the underground. And basically just being like, this isn't enough. And basically just phasing through the ground, and then just like gliding through, and basically popping back up as a bat, and just like all the way to Waterfall. Basically being like, basically seeing Undyne's house and being like, oh, Undyne? And basically, Undyne, coming out being like, Hello? Wait, there's a bat. How the hell is there a bat in the underground? Wait, better yet, how the hell has there not been a bat in the underground? It's pretty much a giant ass cave. And basically, return back to basically normal self. Well, as normal as you can be, being free, like Frisk. Right. Now, like, it's just like, I'm dying. And basically, I'm down being like, me? Wait, Frisk, you look different. And basically, I'm down and be like, my head. Wait, how the hell did I know you? Your name? Wait, you're a human. Supposed to kill humans so that Asgore can become a god and break the barrier. Basically, as Undyne's preparing an attack, Frisk will basically just eat all that like a yummy. And basically Undyne will be like, how the hell is this not killing you, brat? And basically Frisk will be like, oh, it is. I'm just not good at staying dead. Now. Basically. That's much better. I got a lot of holes in me. You're good at spear throwing. But, it's stuck in my torso here. Giant ass knife. Yeet. And basically yeeted the freaking giant ass knife. And basically, and I was like, and basically, first is like, oh, a missed. I was aiming for your head. And basically, like, and then I'll be like, fuck. Just like rip the arm off. Just take the sword and just take it in place and then force to the side, like, rip the appendage clean off. And basically, basically, Undyne's just like has two spears, like boom, boom, like jabs into like Frisk's head, like right through the brain, and just like, and then it's like, Jesus, and Undyne's realizing she's starting to melt, and she's like, some of my determination, by the looks of it, too much. I'm getting real sick and tired of this shit. And then basically from behind her, she would hear, and so am I. And basically Undyne would be like, oh, son of a... And basically, Frisk would just see the other arm, and just like... And, freaking... As soon as Undyne was about to scream in pain, it was like... And like, Frisk would just be like, Undyne? And Undyne would be like, and just be like, you lost. And Undyne would be like, and just be like, and now I'm going to gain your memories. And Undyne would be like, by drinking your blood. Just like, no. And be like, Basically, just like, now on to the next destination. Basically, bypassing some guards by basically going straight through them, basically causing them to seize up. And then just grabbing some knives, like stabbing them through the back of the head, killing them, like having enough of their pain and suffering, just like killing them just because, like, Frisk got bored of their pain and suffering as they were seizing up, like, freaking seizing up and, like, having a stroke at the same time, like simultaneously. Basically, just savagery in the maximum. Unadulterated savagery in the maximum. And basically, just going up to the lab and then just grabbing that shit and yeet, and grabbing the door, yeeting it open, and just ripping it like, boom. Like, freaking goofy, like, chuck that shit. And basically, Alphys would just be like, Mediton? Oh, what did I say about going through without your body fully finished? I still need to work on those upgrades. And Mediton would just be like, Alphys? Dearest? You must remember, you have finished up my upgrades. And basically, Mediton would look at Alphys as basically, Mediton would be like, Alphys? Dr. Alphys? Basically, Alphys would just be pointing to someone that was in the door. And basically, just chucked a freaking pack and like knocked the lights out. And Alphys would just be like, Mediton? What happened? And basically Mediton would be like, someone knocked the lights out. Doctor? I think that's obvious enough. Don't you think so? And it's like, obviously not, if you asked me. Like, Alphys is just like, Mediton? Do you hear anything? And Mediton's like, no, except for the sound of your voice and my voice. Especially my voice. And Alphys is like, that's precisely the problem. Whoever did that, and did that to the door, they aren't making a single sound, not even breathing. And that's basically when everyone's like, when hope is lost, undo this lock, and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release restraint. Level. And then Mediton will just be like, quick, Alphys, my back. And Alphys will just panic and think, switch things, like, oh, yes. Mediton Neo. And basically, as soon as that would happen, we would just hear level 1. And then basically, Megaton Neo will just class up against Frisk and like release straight level 1 state, and basically it would just be like Clash of the Titans. Only couldn't see jack shit. Like Alphys would be completely blind, except for like the attacks that Megaton was sending off. And then all of a sudden, like some aimbot shit would happen, like, and Megaton's like entire body parts would start falling to pieces. And Megaton would just be like, "Oh no!" And basically, I'd just be like, "Clothesline, boom!" Like take the head off, and just crush it on the foot. And then basically, Alphys would see a bunch of red eyes, and then some teeth. Basically, then we'd see a person, and that person having some all sorts of voodoo, weird ass shit enveloping them, and they wouldn't even look like completely human, or like anything Alphys had ever seen at all. Not even the amalgamates matched how creepy this person looked, if they were even a person. And what is this shit that they summoned up? And wait, is it eating freaking Lady Toriel's head? And basically Frisk would just be like, that's what happens whenever my familiar go around without food for a while. They start eating each other, and then it just gets more complicated from there out. Basically, and it just like you just hear a scream, and basically the dripping of blood. As Frisk would just move on towards an elevator, punch that shit open, rip the door out, and basically descend by just like ripping out the floor and just skidding down the wall like freaking Spider-Man or Sonic from Sonic Adventure 2, like skidding on that shit all the way down to like it's like trailblazing, like literal igniting like fire. And basically, the fire would have demonic aura around it. Like all that shit. And there would just be the amalgams. The amalgamates. And they would just all descend upon Frisk. And Frisk would be like, "Oh, now I really get to let loose." And basically, the amalgams would make all sorts of these noises. And, as they would be going towards, basically, Frisk would just be having a fun time. And that's when we're basically busting through the freaking floor. There would just be this flower. And Frisk would just see this flower and be like, "Flowey." And Fly would just be like, "You're not Frisk or Chara. You're something completely different. You're a real monster." And at this point, Frisk would just be like, "A monster?" And they'd just be pissed off. And just be like, Flowey would just start to muster up energy from the souls that were collected. Yeah, at this point, Flowey basically went ahead and decided to kill Asgore, seeing as rumors had been spread that some sort of demon was going through the underground, killing shit for no dang reason. So Flowey went ahead and killed Asgore while everybody was distracted. And basically got the souls, became Omega Flowey, And basically, also known as Photoshop eye rape. And basically, you know, all that shit would happen. Fly would have his own evil laugh that will resound around through the entire area. That is until he started realizing rivers of blood basically coming throughout the floor, the walls, and the ceiling. As more and more familiar would start spreading. And they would just basically look like the freaking amalgamates if you hit him with a freight train. And just like went back and forth over and over again. Basically, we look like a freaking hot ass mess of a vampire's doing. And all sorts of other monsters as well, so yeah. Basically, this is some twisted ass, like, Meatloaf, like, Rob Zombie level shit. Like Andrew WK level shit. Like Metallica death metal bullshit. And basically, you know, Frisk will just descend upon Flowey with familiar intel. And Flowey will just descend upon, like, everything. Even the souls. But that would get them nowhere. Flowey would just end up in the position where basically it's like, go ahead and kill me. It's like, because Flowey would know that he was beaten. He just got the shit kicked out of him. And basically, Frisk would be like, how about this? And just stick fingers in Flowey's face and drain the determination from out of him. And basically turn into Azrael's dead corpse. And that would become a familiar. And basically, Frisk would just walk out. And we'll just be like, yep. And just skyrocket up the freaking thing. But one thing that would do before basically left is, destroy the determination extractor with one attack. Messing any plans for that up. And, well, basically, like, finally making it to Snowden as well. Just have the Familia basically ransack the core and all that. And also ransack New Home and everything. And then the other Familia basically coming from the ruins, basically building up to like an army of Familia, basically in all sorts of rivers of blood. Basically, just like having fully absorbed Chara into their being. as a familia as well, but like a familia that's a part of them. So they themselves would have become their own familia. And at that point, basically, some whole Schrodinger's cat shit would have happened. And then becoming everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Infinite possibilities. But because of their power of determination, it would basically break the whole Schrodinger's cat stick and keep on going. Basically finding Sans and not only killing him, but erasing him, Schrodinger's cat style, by putting him through that. Basically causing him to be erased himself into infinite possibilities. More than he already is, because, being the judge of time space, basically overlapping his own time space. So yeah, basically space-time rape. Basically space-time raping him out of existence. Basically, last thing Sans would hear before the end is basically, when hope is gone, release this lock and send me forth on a moonlit walk. Release a straight level 0. And then just maniacal laughter as he's just basically ripped through time and space so many different times for every time that the Schrodinger's cat thing is brought up. So basically, just dying forever until he's completely deleted from existence. Just infinite death. And basically, being bored, Frisk decides that they want to basically visit, visit other universes. And use their ability to basically Schrodinger's cat those other universes into an infinite death. A cycle of infinite death. And so they would basically decide to just, hop, skipping away to other universes and do their thing. As the no-life human, Frisk. Hope you liked this, because it was something I thought up on the fly. So if you liked it, let me know, and maybe I might actually make future parts. So it's up to you guys. Oh, and by the way, if you want me to make future parts, maybe possibly list the AU you want this Frisk to visit and cause some mayhem in. So, yeah. Deuces.